non exusia. Horadric exusia. May we fight true in His holy name. Blessed be the light.
I'm joined here by Joe Shelley, who's the game director for Diablo IV, and then I have Joseph Pipora, who's the associate game director of Diablo IV. Obviously, this is like I said, our first live stream here.
That's right.
Live at Blizzard right now that we're doing
live,
for
live
Diablo
in the cave.
Live in the cave.
We're here.
You guys are seeing it for the first time. This is our brand new studio that we'll be doing live streams from going forward. You probably recognize some familiar things in the background as well. We have like Bale back here from the Diablo II Resurrected commercial that we actually did with Simu Liu and Winston Duke, which was really cool. We got like the giant Diablo skull in the background. Our skate deck, I'm like trying to point in random directions right now as I look at myself on this monitor.
Yep.
And then, of course, Lilith's
Yeah.
right here. And what's cool, and behind Joe's head, we actually have a giant treasure goblin.
Yeah, treasure goblin.
It's the mascot.
Oh, it's right.
For
Sneaking up on
for
me.
Team Diablo there, especially in our building here at Blizzard. But as you guys know, we've been doing developer quarterly update blogs since the announce back in 2019 with Diablo 4. And this is kind of our new format going forward. We're actually going to be doing more and more developer update live streams as we head towards launch for D4 and even post-launch. But this gives us the opportunity of being able to connect with the community, hear from the devs straight from them through a fun format like live streams. So please excuse our mistakes and slip-ups. I promise you we'll have them. It's the best part about doing live streams and so forth.
The live part.
The live part, exactly. But at the same time, what's great about these is that you guys will be able to hear more and more from the developers behind the scenes and hear their stories about how they are working on the game and what they're working on. So in future live streams, we'll have more information and more details about Diablo 4 before we head into launch. But yeah, I know we have a lot of stuff that we actually did announce over the past week. And Joe, I think it would be like a great opportunity for us to kind of dive in and kind of talk more about like what's occurred over the past couple weeks.
Yeah, the past couple weeks have been, really the culmination of the past year of getting the game, getting all the content into the game, testing the game. We've had test after test this year, internal tests, the closed beta endgame test, which was, we wanted to test our endgame to make sure that we have a chance to tune it and polish it before launch.
Yeah.
Better to test it before
as early as
launch.
possible, right?
Including the press previews that we did. Some of the press got to play and community got to play a little bit before the Game Awards, and then of course we had the Game Awards moment that really capped off the year and brought in. We had the monks take over the Game Awards. There in LA, we had that wonderful opening where everything got dark and you sort of had a little bit of mystery about what was going to happen, and then of course Halsey performing.
Yeah, the Halsey moment was amazing, and this image was so cool. This is actually a picture she ended up taking right before the Game Awards performance, holding the Diablo skull. It's incredibly iconic in terms of how it was.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I had no idea she was such a huge Diablo fan.
I mean, I love how it mirrors this statue of Lilith holding the Diablo skull.
Yes.
Yeah, and she is a huge Diablo fan. She said her first Diablo game was actually D2. So it's pretty cool to be working with her and having her perform her song Lilith there at the Game Awards, and having that cool moment as we led into the reveal of the trailer, and of course the big announcements at the Game Awards being the release date for Diablo IV, which is, we can finally say,
That's right,
which is June 6, 2023. And during that announcement, we also ended up opening up pre-orders for the game, and we have multiple different versions for people to pre-order online or on the Xbox Store or on PlayStation Store. But we've also gotten some questions regarding the actual different versions, and I think we want to just kind of go through a few of them so we can kind of detail out exactly what people will end up getting for each of the different versions of the game. I know that the first version, obviously, is the standard edition of the game itself, and if you end up pre-ordering any copy of the game, you do get early access to open beta.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what version of the game you get. As long as you pre-order it, you're going to get early access to the open beta.
Exactly, and pre-ordering the standard version of the game, comes with benefits in it itself of within Diablo 3, Diablo Immortal, some cosmetics, and of course it comes with the a mount in D4, and I think one of the coolest things is this World of Warcraft mount. And I have to give a huge shout out to the WoW team here. They absolutely killed it. I've been using this around Valdraxis myself while playing Dragonflight. It just looks so cool. And it does come with the pre-ordering the game in itself. And if you get pre-order PC, you actually get it now. And if you pre-order on console, you'll end up getting it at launch with console when you can link your Battle.net accounts.
Yeah, and that mount is based on a character in Diablo IV.
Yes. Spoilers.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But yeah, we won't spoil everything. But yes, it most definitely is. And then there is the digital deluxe version of the game. And we also have an ultimate version of the game. But with the digital deluxe version of the game, you do actually get early access to the launch of the game, which is really, really awesome. And it ends up coming with an additional mount in D4. And of course, it also does come with the battle pass in itself, the premium battle pass for the game. And I know we have an image here for the ultimate version of the game as well, which comes, with the emote.
That's right, the wings emote, which will allow you to have Inarius wings in the game, show them off in town with your emote. Your remote button. Yeah,
and we've gotten some questions from the community that we wanted to talk about regarding the at least with the premium battle pass itself, because I think there's questions related to pricing of what the Battle Pass is going to be, it is going to be $10 in US dollars in in-game currency value for the premium Battle Pass. So you get that included with the Digital Deluxe and the Ultimate version. The Ultimate version does come with like the tier skips and so forth. But then, and there's also questions related to early access for the Digital Deluxe and the Ultimate version, because I think some people were wanting to know, like, oh, does that come with like with early access? Does that mean I have like a massive leg up on people? And I know you guys wanted to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think there are two points there. One is getting early access to the game's release that you get through the deluxe version or the Ultimate Edition. And the thing I want to be clear about is that the game will not be launching in Season 1. Season 1 will arrive weeks after the launch of the game, and when Season 1 starts, everyone will be starting at the same time. Everyone will have an even playing field, and a lot of our competitive features like leaderboards and those kinds of things are going to show up in seasons. So folks who get early access to the game will get to check it out early, but you don't have to worry about any unfairness in terms of seasons.
Yeah, and I know with like the premium Battle Pass and so forth, like there's like some tie-in or some questions tied to like season journey and everything.
This is a good, actually. I'm glad we have an opportunity to kind of talk about this a little bit. So there's, I think there's confusion about the distinction between the Battle Pass and the idea of the season journey. Mm-hmm. And the season journey is still in Diablo 4 in the same way that you found it in Diablo 3, and that it's kind of a chapter-based mechanic that as players are progressing through the season, able to complete these various objectives tied to each chapter. We've made some updates to the way the feature works. You'll be earning like rewards for your character as you go through the process for this, but you'll also be earning favor by completing chapters of the season journey. And that favor is what drives some of the progression for the Battle Pass itself. So just by playing through the game normally and completing some of these objectives and earning these rewards for your character, you'll also be progressing your Battle Pass more quickly, which is great because even if you don't buy the Battle Pass, and there are still many like items in the Battle Pass that are still available for free, you'll just get access to as you rank up the Battle Pass anyway. So even if you don't spend the $10 to purchase the premium Battle Pass, you'll still get like some minor cosmetics and a few like gameplay like boosts that you'll be able to earn during the course of that experience. But even those boosts, like let's say you get the accelerated version of the Battle Pass, a few extra tier skips that come with the game initially when you start playing in Season 1, which is again when the Battle Pass would actually start. Yeah. Like these gameplay boosts have a character level requirement attached to them in addition to the tier requirement. So just if you've managed to purchase a few tiers or if you progress that more quickly, you'll still have to have a character with the appropriate level to make use of any of those things. It's really, really important to us that we balance the things that you can find in the Battle Pass in a way that they're compelling but still very fair. We don't want to have any situations where players can feel that they can pay to win.
Yeah. And of course, all of the seasonal content is completely free and it's not attached to the Battle Pass itself.
We're gonna definitely do another one of these streams at some point, just to talk about like Season 1 and maybe seasons more generically. And we've done some we've had like blog posts and things. We've talked about this more recently. But to reiterate, like seasonal content, like our big season updates, are all completely free. They're filled with new like progression mechanics, new monsters to fight, new challenges, new quests and content to go and consume. There's a lot to look forward to. All of that completely comes with the box price of the game you've already purchased.
Yeah, and as Joseph just mentioned here, like if you want to learn more about the Battle Pass itself, feel free to check out our blog back in August where we kind of detail out a lot of our plans on that. And of course, we do plan on talking more about seasons here in the future because people are going to want to know what Season 1 is about, and we'll have more information as we get closer to launch.
And we're excited to talk about it, frankly.
Yeah, and there's some incredible cosmetics in the Battle Pass too.
There's really cool cosmetics in the Battle Pass, but no power. You have to pay for it.
Yep, no power. And then the next big thing that I do want to also mention, of course, with the pre-ordering all the different games, is the collector's box. And I know we've seen a lot of chatter about this because of all the cool items and so forth in it. We did want to, we have an image right here. I mean, it looks amazing. We did want to clarify in the pricing of the collector's box. Right now, it is priced at $96.66, and it will be available on the Gear Store in North America, EU, UK, and Latin America after the stream itself. And then in Australia, New Zealand, and in Korea, they will have those available at select retailers for people to actually pre-order as well. So there is going to be options here for people to check out or purchase the actual collector's box. There is one other question I know that a lot of people are have asked about, like, hey, does this actually come with a copy of the game? It doesn't. This is just a collector's box of all the items that are inside, like collectible items that people would want related to D4. But this also gives you a little bit of flexibility too, because you can actually end up getting a standard version of the game and a collector's box if you prefer, or you can get the ultimate version of the game and the collector's box. So you can kind of mix and match depending on exactly what you specifically want for your own needs, because you may be like wanting all the collectible items and as opposed to all the digital items or so from that end. But what's even cooler is that we actually have a collector's box here.
Yeah.
You do.
So we do want to show it off for the first time.
Look at this.
Yeah, this thing is massive.
This thing is massive.
So we're going to go through a few of the items here. This right here obviously is the box with like the gates of hell opening up, and it actually
Like trying to adjust it for the cameras to make sure people can really see.
Exactly. Professional hand models here.
Oh yeah, clearly we're very good at this in particular. But it's really neat that like even like it just opens up like the gates. And I think that there's a plan to do more, have like
correct, yeah,
more of an unboxing video.
We're gonna show off some items here, but then after this stream, we are most definitely hoping you guys actually check out the Diablo YouTube channel, because the Diablo YouTube channel itself is gonna have a full unboxing of all the items and give you like a little bit of a closer look and details and so forth. But we do want to show off what we can here for sure.
Yeah. So the first thing we have is like one of these prints.
Correct. Yeah, there's 2 different prints that actually come, or actually I guess almost 3 different prints that do come with the collector's box in itself. Right. Of course, some people may be familiar with some of this concept art that we've actually shown off in the past, and now you'll have your own map prints of those. And then we have another one down here.
More here?
Of this loving couple.
Yeah, it's the happy couple, right?
The Inarius Lilith combo here of the concept art between both of them. Inarius in chains there.
Yes. Again, so cool. We'll look at these characters this way.
And then we have
there's things. There's things.
Yeah, we have the Horadric Pin as well, which is really cool. And you can be like Tyrael now. I guess Tyrael now in the story.
Yeah, this is so cool because we had to build the Horadric. The Horadric are a key part of the story of Diablo IV, and so we needed to design a symbol that appeared in game that was really iconic and part of a symbol of their order, and it turned out to be quite important. And so we decided to make this physical pin so that you could kind of
be part of the secret club.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go.
So you too could join an order of secret demon hunters going across Sanctuary trying to keep things safe.
Exactly.
This is actually one of my absolute favorite things here that we're about to show. I want to make sure that I actually get it the right side up. I did not.
There we go.
I did.
There we go. Live.
Yeah.
This is the cloth map here of, and what I think the coolest part about this is actually a full representation of like the areas you'll be playing in Diablo IV.
That's right. When we went to build the world of Sanctuary for Diablo IV, one of the things we wanted to do is make sure that the game map had the feel of the kind of map that you would have that people made when they thought maybe there were a bunch of serpents in the water.
Right.
And so it was so cool to build all of that art for the map, and then getting to actually represent that as a physical object in the cloth map is so cool. And there are even more embellishments on this map. A lot of the art there at the bottom and all around the outside.
Yeah, and the framing is so cool. Like Lilith's up at the top and like kind of center frame there, and then of course, like we mentioned, like there's points in the game like Skazgland, Dry Steps, etc. that are represented in the map that you'll actually be able to see. And when you open up the map in Diablo IV, it's essentially this, which is awesome. So
yeah, I'm just a huge D&D and RPG nerd. So like anytime a game has a cloth map that comes with it, like I'm just so ecstatic to be able to just hang that up someplace and just put it somewhere. So I'm really stoked to see that we actually have this. And then we have
there's more.
There's certainly more. We have the art book, which is massive.
Yes.
Here you go, Adam.
Oh, yes.
Let me hand that to you awkwardly.
Yeah, I will attempt to flip through.
Accept it awkwardly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's got it in itself. It's a bunch of different art that obviously the team has been working on within the game and so forth, and led by our wonderful art director John Mueller.
right.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm so sorry. There's like super glare.
Somewhat glossy. It's very nice.
Glossy pages, everyone. It looks great. But yeah, this thing is massive. It's super heavy. It's hundreds of pages here.
I mean,
which is really cool.
it's that's how thick it is, right? Like this is a lot of art. It's really cool, and we can only show you a little bit of it.
And honestly, if you've like ever pre-ordered like a collector's edition or anything like that from other Blizzard titles like World of Warcraft and everything, the art books from all the art teams here have always been so phenomenal, and that's just another. So
that's not the last piece here. We have
Yes.
this. We have the candle.
yes, the Candle of Creation here is included. This is kind of like the main centerpiece for the collector's box in itself. This thing is really awesome. It's pretty hefty too, and it's great because it's double-sided here, so you can kind of choose sides depending on what you would want. Lilith on one side, and Inarius on the other.
Didn't we just do like a Twitter poll for like Team Lilith and Team Inarius?
We did. I will say the results blew me away because I think if you asked me like a month ago, I would have said Team Lilith would have been just
Would have crushed,
yeah. But it ended at a 50-50 split. So there are most definitely a good mixture of fans between Inarius and Lilith. But yeah, the candle itself is really cool. There's a ton of detail on the actual base as I'm covering it with my hand.
Yeah.
Hand model, everyone. And then, of course, it's even got some extra details here on the bottom specifically.
Fallen skulls. You can really see some of the detail of Inarius pauldrons.
It's almost hard. It's hard to show off the level of detail, but thankfully we have a video later that will talk about some of these things.
Exactly.
And we have some images going up as well.
Yeah, and it's actually got a, because this is an electric candle in itself, this is not like something that will just disappear after using it for so many uses and so forth. But it is battery operated. There's a switch on the side and so forth. But you can then have it either on your desk while you're working, or and you can flip it from side to side depending on which.
That's right.
Who you want to be in favor with.
Mondays with Lilith and Tuesdays with Inarius.
Exactly. So yeah, this is the collector's box itself. As I said, we will have an unboxing on our YouTube channels immediately after the live stream. So make sure to check that out. And pre-orders should be going live after this live stream on the Gear Store. So, and that is in, again, North America, Latin America, Europe, and the UK. And then in Australia and Korea, it will be available at certain retailers. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled for those specific regions and where those details are going to be. So this is the collector's box. So it's actually really cool. Super excited. I'm sad I'm not going to be able to like immediately run over and pre-order it itself because
We got to do this.
I got to do this. But we actually have a lot of other things to talk about. As you guys know from the Game Awards and what you probably saw in the beginning of the live stream. Speaking of which, I do want to apologize for our counter. It clearly looks like Belial has gotten to our counter at the beginning of the live stream. It was moving a little slow. Lord of Lies most definitely has taken advantage of it. But we did start perfectly on time. But at the Game Awards, we did reveal the new cinematic for Diablo IV.
Yeah.
And I think this would be just one more a good refresher, just in case if you're jumping into the live stream now or if you haven't taken a look at it. I've seen it a million times, but let's take another look at the Inarius and Lilith trailer.
Unknown exousia. Horadric exousia. may we fight true in his holy name. Blessed be the light.
That a million times and probably like half the views on YouTube in it itself.
Are you?
I am. I am boosting the YouTube viewership all by myself. It honestly is probably one of my most favorite cinematics that our SFT team has worked on here.
It's
at
incredible.
Blizzard. It's incredible. I think it'd be good to like kind of help inform the community, because I know a lot of people, if you follow Diablo, you know who like Lilith and Inarius are, but then there's a lot of questions related to like, who is Lilith, who is Inarius, how important are they within the Diablo universe, and it'd be kind of like great to give a little primer on that.
Yeah, so Diablo IV focuses on the world of Sanctuary, and it's the world itself was created by Inarius and Lilith. The universe of Diablo, there's this eternal conflict between heaven and hell, with the angels on one side and the demons on the other side. And Inarius and Lilith got tired of this and wanted to have a third way, and they created the world of Sanctuary where the humans live, and Diablo IV takes place.
They sort of abandon their responsibilities, sort of, right? Like they're expected to continue this war.
Well, that's certainly the take of the demons and the angels both. Yeah, absolutely. And so these two characters, these two antagonists, are a central part of the story as you adventure through the world of Sanctuary. These two founders, who do not see eye to eye at this point, certainly, are a key part of the story that will unwind.
Yeah, so being able to like explore like Lilith as a character, explore Inarius' characters and like their motivations, kind of what led them to where they are now and why things are blowing up the way they are. Yeah, definitely very important to the overall story. Very cool to explore as well.
Yeah, and I think like the cinematic showcases like amazing moments, especially for Inarius. I mean, he's very much center stage for kind of the first time that people really get to see or experience him in a Diablo game, beyond just like the lore, the discussions, and so forth. And I think like just seeing his power and what he represents right there was amazing.
Yeah, Inarius is a force, to be sure. And it's so cool to be able to tell the story in a way that we can have really multifaceted characters that have real motivations, like you were saying, but also be able to represent the raw power of some of these characters like Inarius. Like when you think about that shot of Inarius' wings, getting to see them over the army there, and
like spreading out super wide. Yeah,
absolutely. And angel wings have been such a beautiful part of Diablo games for a long time. I think back to the scene with Tyrael in the World Stone and how his wings were represented there. The way that they can move, they have kind of this quality that I don't think I've seen any other wings, angel wings that are represented quite this way. They're just incredible.
Yeah, they feel very iconic to our angels in Diablo, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, of course, they're not just visually cool. They're also functional. You can see in the cinematic we just showed, when he lands, he actually impales a number of fallen off screen.
Yeah.
With his wings.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite parts, where he's just like coming down and the fallen are in awe, and obviously he's just impaling them, and his feet landing on the ground, and like the amount of impact he has while doing a soft landing is just insane. You can tell he's got something on his mind. He clearly has an objective, wants to most definitely go towards it. It's just insane to see the power that's behind him. And I think one of my other favorite moments is the kind of the pulse he sends out that like completely brightens up hell. All the fallen are essentially like blinded by it, but it's got this unique sound to it, and like a little bit of like fun Diablo lore is that like angels in Diablo are beings of light, and the sound and like the resonance are all tuned to the crystal arch, and it's almost like you're hearing his unique sound that he actually sends out, which just causes all the fallen to immediately move off and be scared of like his power and what he brings.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much in regards to the story between Inarius and Lilith, and it's weird to also think that Inarius is also kind of was originally serving under Teriel, which is obviously a very familiar name within Diablo. So there's a lot more to reveal that we're going to be doing here over the next couple months as we lead up to launch, and of course when people jump into the game for the Diablo IV story. But that cinematic was phenomenal for sure. The next big thing that we did want to talk about, and this is a huge part because this is actually kind of a new thing that a lot of the community may have heard of, but probably don't have full details on, and that is the Codex of Power.
Oh yeah, Codex of Power.
Yes, the Codex of Power is a brand new feature that's coming into Diablo IV. It's a gameplay feature, and Mr. Joseph Pipora.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can give us a little bit more details.
I'll talk about this. So this is one of those things I would have loved to be able to talk about in a blog a while ago, but we weren't quite ready to reveal it at that time, and there was already so many things for us to discuss. So the Codex of Power is this new crafting feature that we're bringing online in Diablo IV. We're really, really excited about it. What it allows players to do is, as they're progressing through this, the massive interconnected world of Sanctuary, they're going to be discovering lots and lots of dungeons as they go. And when they find these dungeons and they delve deep into them, at the bottom of them, they're going to find what we call Codex of Power aspects. And an aspect in the Codex of Power is effectively a legendary power that's been put in this very particular form. And every one of these dungeons that players progress through in the overworld has a unique legendary power via the aspect found inside of them.
Yeah. What I love about that is that you can create a new character, and you can look at some of the powers that are available through these dungeons and say, okay, I really want to target this power. I'm going to go to this dungeon, get that power. So you're less dependent on like, well, I hope this power drops.
Absolutely. So there are limitations in place, but Joe, to your point, that is basically the intent here, right? Is to give players some manner and measure of control over the nature of their build as they're beginning to go through those steps. But the Codex of Power is a way for them to basically take these aspects, and then they're able to go back to a crafter back in one of the major cities, our new occultist crafter, actually. And when they go to the occultist, they can hand off actually, we're showing it right now. Our sorcerer's friend has just earned Aspect of Overwhelming Bolts, which is going to allow her Charge Bolts ability to go and fire 2 more projectiles with each cast. She's going for like an up close and personal melee lightning build. Mm-hmm. So this shotgun approach for her spenders will be really, really useful. More bolts, more damage, definitely very good. Minor trade-off for the mana cost, but still what ends up being worth in the end. Here we can see that the sorceress is now heading over to the occultist and is going to be choosing to imbue this aspect into one of their existing items. So she takes the item. So you're looking at a lot of work in progress stuff that we're looking at here because this is a live cast. We'd like to be able to show some things off. You have an opportunity to go and basically override the existing legendary power on this and put in the new power they've just collected to the Codex of Power. Mm-hmm. So in this way, players get this deterministic way to kind of collect a series of these legendary powers that are out there in the game for them to find, but it's not all of them. You can only find some of the legendary powers overall in the game. There are over 120 dungeons in the game. So this represents like a lot of really exciting and interesting things for you to collect as you're going through these areas. Also, you don't just find legendary powers for your class. You'll find legendary powers for all of the classes as you go, and some ones that can work on multiple classes as well. And then we think this is really cool because every time you find an aspect that you can put into your Codex of Power, this is now available to all characters in that realm. So, for sake of argument, if we're playing in Season 1, every character that you'd make, let's say you're playing your sorceress first, and you go find a whole bunch of werewolf, druid, based aspects as you're playing. When you go and you want to build a new werewolf character or a new druid character, you have all those aspects to play with from level 1 as soon as you want to start kind of like leveling up gear and getting into a position where you can make use of them.
That's
we
right.
love this idea of like making it so it's easier to go play with other builds.
Yeah, I love too how we've really been thinking about crafting in Diablo IV, and I love how the occultist figures into that crafting, right? Because when we think about legendaries in Diablo IV, what we're really talking about is the legendary power. And that legendary power can be moved around. You can use it to upgrade rares, and the occultist is sort of the central point of all of that crafting loop.
That's absolutely right. So that was one big change we add with, and we've talked about in previous blogs before, but one big change in Diablo IV is allowing legendary powers of a particular type to roll on lots of different item slots, which gives players an interesting game of deciding where they want to place certain powers to make the maximum use of them for their builds. Now the Codex lets them put them on the slots that are appropriate for that power. They can choose, right? But another limitation for the Codex power, in addition to not actually having the ability to collect all of legendary powers in the game, there's many, many more for you to find as you're playing through Diablo IV. Those powers also are always rolled at the lowest level of power possible. So it is always better for you to go find a legendary item that has the power that you're interested in, and then you can choose to use that item directly or extract the power from that item into an aspect crystal, then go in and print into your own item of your choosing. So those legendary items you find out in the world are always going to end up being more powerful as a general rule.
Yeah, I really like the idea that no matter what, finding stuff is still going to lead to potentially the best opportunity of getting the most amount of power, but you still have the customization ability of being able to, I found this power, I would still like to use this on another piece of gear and add that within the Codex of Power, and you still can.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's great about it, exactly to that point, is that you can have, let's say that you are leveling up and you get a legendary power that you really love, and you start to sort of make your build around it. With the Codex of Power, you can acquire new gear, and in fact through essences as well, and you can extract, you can bring that power with you, so you can maintain that build, so you're not losing a core part of your build as you're getting new gear.
Yeah, and the fun thing about this is that we do want players, as they're beginning to go through their class phase, they're making their skill tree selections, they're going deeper and deeper into this, they're making their fun choices. We do want them to be able to still want to chase certain other powers. Like, for example, for this, kind of like melee-focused lightning build, the player here is participating in right now. Like, there are other powers that they really, really want for this build. Like, there's a lightning bolt legendary that's going to allow lightning warp legendary. It's going to allow them to have the spear basically orbit around them as part of combat, which, as you can see, would be awesome when they're teleporting into packs of monsters and trying to deal damage when they're up and close and personal. So there's lots more things for that lightning sword to collect as they're going through, and then hopefully find the very best versions of those legendary powers as well as just finding them in the first place.
Yeah, so I know with the Codex of Power, this is kind of a new feature that's coming in Diablo IV, and we'll have more information and more details regarding different parts of the Codex of Power, and the different powers you can end up finding and so forth to imbue onto actual weapons or gear in general here in the future. Plus other mechanics and other systems that I know people have been talking about and wanting to know more about here in the future. But I did want to leave some time for some Q&A, because I know we've had a lot of different questions that we've seen pop over the community here in the especially in the last week with all the announcements that we've actually had related to Diablo IV. And so I wanted to make sure that we spent some time on those. So we did collect a lot of these questions through different community channels, like some of our forums on D3, D2R, where people are posting about Diablo IV there, to Reddit. Some of our these questions actually came from social media, or even our content creators that actually do focusing on Diablo. So
Great.
let's kind of like jump into a few of these specific questions if we can. So first one we have is like, what learnings did you guys apply from other Diablo games to Diablo 4?
Yeah, this is a great question because when you think about the history of the Diablo IP, of all the games that have come, what we wanted to do is capture the things that players loved about each of those entries in the series. And when you think about, so we really thought about how Diablo 1 really established sort of this tone of gothic horror, this really dark tone that was quite different from other things that you would see at the time. And we wanted to carry that forward and recapture that in Diablo 4. And then when we look again, what do players love and hold close to their hearts in Diablo 2? And we really wanted to capture that essence of having systems that unfold out and have all of this depth and ability to look at it and nuance and think to yourself, okay, well, I'm really going to learn all of the details of this, and I'm gonna by having a deep understanding of this, I'm going to optimize my character in ways that people who don't understand these nuances will miss, and I will feel like, oh, I really am optimizing through this system in that.
The character's really like an expression of the choices you've made while you're leveling up and like making interesting decisions, right? Like
that's a great point.
It's really, really important. A lot more of that power is based on decisions that players made along the way.
Power on the character itself versus
just stuff that you
the
wear.
Itemization, absolutely. And of course, when we think about Diablo 3, we think about the fluidity of combat, that sort of action aspect of the action RPG. It
feels really good to kill monsters in Diablo 3.
Yeah, and Diablo 3 added so much to not just the player cast interactions. When you talk about hit frames and contact frames and all of the sort of nitty gritty of how that smoothness is achieved, but also the effects on the monsters exploding, various ways that monsters can die, death kits, all of those kinds of things. And we wanted to make sure that we represented that in Diablo 4 and even at a grander scale. I mean, if you can't behead a fallen, then what are we even doing here?
Exactly.
What are we even doing here?
Exactly. Cool. For the next question we have, as I'm like dodging the camera and so forth, how does the Battle Pass work and how long does it go for? I know we talked a little bit about Battle Pass, but I think this is actually a really good question as well.
Yeah, it's a great question. So the Battle Pass will last for the entire duration of a season, and a season is 3 months.
Yep.
So you'll have plenty of time to work your way through the Battle Pass. Active players are going to have no problem with that. You're not going to run out of time.
Yeah, and you'll be earning progress, like I mentioned before, by completing content in the season journey, but also just by like killing monsters, going through dungeons, completing quests. Like everything you do is be slowly earning progress towards your Battle Pass progress.
Yeah, and I know that because we talked about season journey beforehand and so forth, and again, that's just an opportunity for people who even don't have the Battle Pass will still have an opportunity of actually going through a season journey similar to what they kind of experienced with Diablo 3 and earning things and so forth from that specific moment as well.
Oh, I want to call it one more thing because I think there's another question here that sometimes is kind of asked, which is like, how long am I expected to play in order to like progress through the Battle Pass? And like that's like close to like between 75 hours ish. Like it's in that kind of realm for the most part. And this is important because we don't want you to think like you hear that there's a Battle Pass that's going to last for 3 months. Am I expected to play every single day for 4 hours for 3 months? Like that's not how this works. We really want people to engage with it at a pace that is appropriate to you and feel that you've got the time necessary to like really go through the whole thing.
Cool. Next question that we have here is when does the first season of Diablo 4 actually start?
That's right. So we'll be able to share more details about the exact dates of when the season starts, along with more details about the first season, what kind of exciting things you're going to get to see coming soon. But the key thing to know is that the game will launch in a pre-season mode.
Yes.
And the season will start some weeks after that.
Yeah, and so for those that do end up pre-ordering, again, on the Digital Deluxe or the Ultimate version, and they had the early access period, your early access will be within the preseason, so it's not an opportunity to get a leg up over other people in regards to that first season for Diablo 4.
Yeah, I really want to make sure people have time to like really play through and enjoy the campaign and see all this content before they get ready to start fresh in season 1.
Exactly.
Next question. If I want to play Diablo 4 on PC and console, do I need to purchase the game for each platform?
Yes, so you do need to purchase the game for each platform that you want to play on.
Correct.
But the all of your progression, you can play between platforms, and all of your progression is cross-platform as well.
Yeah, and just to reiterate as well is that if you do buy the premium battle pass for like PC and you also play on Xbox, for instance, your battle pass does carry over because it is part of your BattleNet account. So you'll end up progressing both on whichever platform that you actually do play on. You don't need to purchase a battle pass for each specific platform for each time you're playing on like PlayStation or on Xbox and on PC.
That's right.
Cool. Will familiar Diablo items be returning to Diablo 4? Sorry, I'm like ducking around.
They will. Joe, I think you have some.
Yeah, so like I mean, there are a ton that are returning. There's Shaco's coming back. Wind Force is coming back. Grandfather's coming back. There's like Mage Fist is coming back.
And these are unique items.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, so that's a really good call-out. So there are legendary items we talked a little bit before that have like really particular powers, and then there are unique items that are much more powerful than legendary items are. Now, legendary powers can show up on any slot. Unique items come with like a pretty fixed loaded of like types of affixes that could appear on that thing, and then what the special power is tied to the unique item on its own. And they're difficult to find. They're really rare. They're fun chase items, and you can really build exciting builds around some of these things. But we've taken a lot of the ideas from these items from previous games, kind of reinterpreted them to make sure they work with Diablo 4, but tried to retain that thematic essence to them. Like, it's been an exciting challenge for the team to kind of go after and try to bring in. Yeah, we have a ton.
Diablo items returning. And fan favorites.
And a lot of new things too. So there's a mixture of both, but you will see some returning favorites.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I think that is the end of our questions that we have there, specifically that we ended up grabbing. I know that we wanted to make sure that we had enough time and so forth. And but I did want to thank you guys for joining, and thank you guys, obviously, for joining us on our last live stream. But I'm gonna throw you guys before we leave some quick, like, fast-paced shotgun questions, because I want to make sure that we have all these and everything like that.
Sounds good.
I'd be curious to know favorite class in Diablo 4 for each of you.
Okay,
Rogue.
fine. I'm sorry.
Rogue.
Rogue. Okay, so that was easy. I guess Barbarian, but I think in terms of specs. So I could just talk for the 5 minutes, but no, Barbarian right now.
Yeah, you're right. There's so many cool mechanics. Like when I say rogue, I'm thinking about the idea of being a rogue and running around. Like that,
I will say rogue is incredibly fun. Like plays like it's if you want a fast, like agile character that like is dancing around like everything.
Yeah, it doesn't disappoint
It is
mechanically.
the most. I would say that and the Necromancer are probably the two most fun and flashy like characters. Well, actually, I would say also even the Sorceress is flashy just because of all the spell effects and everything. So
Again, there's builds I love on all of the classes.
I personally am a Druid fanboy. Always have been.
Bear, werewolf.
Actually, I've really enjoyed like the elemental specs and so forth. Yeah.
Storm is so strong.
Storm is so fun.
We're gonna nerf Storm, everybody.
Just because I said something.
Just because we said it was good. So we're gonna go. We're not gonna just nerf Storm. Don't worry about that.
I'd be curious to know favorite enemy in Diablo 4. Maybe
favorite enemy.
Yeah. Or enemy family.
Enemy family. Wow. I love I love what we were able to do with the Bloodcasters. There was actually an enemy in Diablo 2 under the city that is this vampire caster, very tall and thin and floating, and we were able to reimagine that in Diablo 4, and it moves by turning into bats. And it can form out of bats. So if you get a lot of bats in one area, it can turn into one of these casters.
Wait, did it move in Diablo 2 as bats?
No,
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, like I always, it's so hard to tell with like D2 because it's like usually you find them in like catacombs or something like that, and it's really dark. And maybe they have been, and I have had no idea. But yeah.
Yeah, for me it's Drowned. Like the whole monster family for the Drowned, I really really like. There's something about like the like these pale, clammy like seaside monsters rising up from the waters. And one of the things that's really fun is like they're really like strange and mysterious in the world. And I really gravitate towards that. Like, they're covered with barnacles. They've got like all kind of like broken parts of like sunken sea vessels they use in combat. They just swarm all over the place. Often you'll find like you're in slick areas where it's raining when you have to actually encounter them. Like they're a super fun a group of monsters to fight. And they've got some neat, a lot of their brute like has some like really really neat abilities you have to like trying to like dodge and avoid. They're very dangerous. So yeah, they're my favorite I think right now.
Nice. What's a fun fact you guys encountered while developing Diablo 4?
Fun fact developing Diablo 4. I'm going to throw it at Joe. Why?
What do you think?
So a fun fact I learned while developing Diablo 4, that it is very, very important while we're allowing players to like make a lot of choices and they're thinking about the way they like make like really interesting character for themselves, that we unveil that kind of slowly initially. Otherwise, we have a tendency to like get people like really like scared about making choices, and they kind of clam up, which is obviously not what we want. We want people to like be able to engage with these kinds of features. So it's maybe not like a fun fact, but I think it was very, very interesting. We went through a lot of iterations to get to the right place. And I'm really happy with where we landed.
Yeah, now I have to give a serious answer.
No, I'm sorry. I should have given some other fun fact.
No. I think it's better.
Okay.
I think we went through we went through a lot of iteration on the first skill when you start out in the very beginning of Diablo 4. For a while, you started with one of your classes, left click, basic skills, and we had a lot of trouble with having that skill that we'd chosen for you, feeling like, well, I guess I should build a spec around this, because it's just you start with it, you're familiar with it. And it sort of constrained your ability to explore the skill tree.
Yeah. So like if Sork started with like Firebolt, for example, like a lot of people that were testing would just make fire like spec sorcerers. They wouldn't think about like trying other skills. So
we ended up going with a basic. We ended up adding fairly late in development a basic attack that you start with, so that when you get your first level up, you actually get to choose. Okay, well, which spec do I want to start with? And of course, you can respec within the skill tree pretty freely. So
yeah, and I remember that when it was originally like that, and thankfully we test internally and so forth. We get our own feedback from within the team of what people are actually doing from that end. Of course, and last but not least, the most controversial question: Team Inarius or Team Lilith?
Team Inarius. Even though I'm wearing my Lilith shirt.
That's
actually really funny. I guess still Team Lilith. I think I'm still Team Lilith. Yeah.
We're split. I won't break the tiebreaker here. We will keep the poll at 50-50.
Trying to stay very neutral here.
I will stay neutral here. I will choose Team Bale. There we go.
Team Bale.
It's behind me. It's perfect. Uncle Bale.
Uncle Bale.
Uncle Bale. It's perfect. Great. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our time here today on the developer update stream. I do want to note that we thank everyone again for tuning in for our first developer update stream. This has actually been kind of a crazy process of getting a studio up back in the building, and I'm happy that we can call this home for our streams going forward. We do have a lot of Diablo activities that are going on that we've announced or will announce here, I'll say in a second, for the whole entire franchise. If you are a big fan of Diablo Immortal or a player of Diablo Immortal, we just had a huge update for 1.7 come out yesterday. It's massive. It's probably our biggest update yet. So I do recommend checking it out. Lots of big narrative moments and whole new areas that kind of expand the campaign in Diablo Immortal, as well as a lot of quality of life features that the community's been asking for. So been hearing a lot of great positive feedback, and we're excited that that's out right before the holidays. And then D2R, earlier this week, we announced 22 Nights of Terror.
It's
an in-game event that essentially changes the game every single day, and it's kind of a surprise. Think of it like a Diablo advent calendar, you could say. So that actually started earlier this week. And for Diablo 3 fans, we actually have a new holiday event. This is a brand new event for Diablo 3 that I'm really excited to.
Yeah, you've been working hard on this.
Our D3 team has been working really hard, and they're working really hard on the next season. And we'll actually be revealing that tomorrow on the blog. So make sure to tune in for that. And we'll also have news related to, of course, the Darkening of Tristram, which happens every single year for Diablo 3 and when that will be occurring. So make sure to check out Diablo3.com from that side. Any parting words from you guys?
Yeah, you know, I really wanted to thank everyone for tuning in today and following us throughout the year. It's been a big year for us, as I was saying earlier. A ton of work getting all the content into the game, setting us up for next year, setting us up for release. We've got a lot of bugs to fix in the new year. We've got to make sure that our server architecture and infrastructure is in good shape for our betas coming up and our release as well. So some work ahead of us, and we have a lot of exciting stuff to share next year as well through some of these live streams, more of these live streams. But you're not going to hear from us for a little while because we're all going to take some time off to be with our families for the holidays and really take a break from Diablo 4. Just not think about Diablo 4 for a little bit.
A restful holiday period for the team for sure.
Sometimes we have like builds up, people to like sort of like log in and continue to play, and like not this time. We're killing all the builds for the holidays and forcing everyone to not be on Diablo for a little while. Be good.
Any parting words?
Shout outs to the various Diablo updates we have coming down the road. I recommend everyone take some time to play some World of the Warcrafts because Dragonflight is rad, really fun. But for the community itself, I think that this has been a huge year for the Diablo team, much as Joe has already said. We're really excited to be able to just finally start sharing more and more about where the game is at and what we've been thinking about and what we value. It's been awesome talking to press. I really can't wait to just keep this conversation going. I think this is going to be the best thing for everybody, both for the dev team, to be able to get this feedback and hear the sorts of things that you're interested in, and also just make sure that we're regularly talking to you so you know what to expect and you know what where our heads are at. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you for sticking with us this long, and hopefully everyone enjoyed all the things that happened over the course of this last couple months.
Yeah, and like I said, this is kind of the new way that we're going to be communicating out to the community through these developer update streams. We're super excited for them, especially as we get into next year. We have way more information to reveal, including details early next year, about the open beta and when that will actually be starting as well. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I just want to say happy holidays, and we'll see you guys next year from the Diablo team. Thanks again.
Yep. See you, buddy.